Good evening, brothers. Hey, how you doing? Good evening, Highland. How you doing? Just getting into the groove for some painting tonight. Had a read over chapter approved today, and it's basically the same book, right? We got about 10 different points costs changed. We got this secondaries changed, and everything else in the book is pretty much exactly the same. So $20 not well spent, I guess. That's how I feel about it, right? Like, that could have easily been a PDF. We didn't I don't feel like we needed to buy a book. So anyone that bought the book, maybe you guys are feeling like me, but I don't know. I assumed that we get some new missions, or I think one of the missions maybe has its secondary changed. Good evening, Casual Gamer, how you doing? But yeah, overall it seems like it's very much, it's become the most salty of editions. Well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, I'm fine paying $20 if there's a lot of changes in the book, but for very, very few changes, so I'm not sure how I feel about it. So I need to start the stream by giving a shout out to 2 Hit and 2 Wound, because the guy, he's kind of a newer follower of the channel, and you see all these, like, he has sent me all these brushes. So these are the new Synthetics Games Workshop ones. We've got dry brushes, 2 dry brushes here actually, a base brush, another base brush, medium, small, medium. What is this, some sort of giant shade brush, a XL base brush, a dry large brush. I don't know what the hell I'm dry brushing with that size of brush, but okay. A base large, a layer small, a layer medium, and a glaze. So yeah, holy shit, like, I don't know how much these brushes cost. I don't even know if they're released. Are they released? But I imagine that they're released, it's Games Workshop brushes, so there's no way. Hey Cooper, thanks for subscribing. There's no way that these brushes are less than, let's say, like $5 each. So 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, $60 worth of brushes. So just sent them to me out of the kindness of his heart so we can try some of them out. Yeah, I mean, it's awesome, right? I'm going to do another video on these, but I may actually start by trying one of these tonight. Layer medium or layer small, maybe. I'm going to be doing a bit of detailing just now on Sanguary Guard, so we're maybe going to... I wish they put the numbers on them like the other brushes, you know, like the other brushes are like zeros and stuff. Like these Element Game character brushes is essentially a 0. Let me compare these 2 points. Yeah, I mean, these are similar, right? Maybe if we take this off, you guys can see it better. Yeah. All right, so we're gonna. I've been really enjoying this Element Games brush. As always, I really love the Element Games brushes. I started a new one the other night. I think they're great. So let's give this Games Workshop Citadel brush a try. But yeah, shout out to 2 Hit 2 Wound on Twitch, sending me all these brushes. So yeah, they just came this week, so that was cool. And then the other cool thing is, I don't know if you guys, I don't have all the things I need yet for it, but I did get my new 4K camera today. So yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool beast. So hopefully we're gonna be able to do some better videos with this. I need to get a new capture card for it, and I need to get like a HDMI lead. I guess it's like micro HDMI out. But this camera is going to be phenomenally better than the camera I'm using at the moment. So I'm excited to... I need like another month to get the money together for all the other attachments it needs, but super excited to get a new camera finally. I've been, pretty much since I started the YouTube channel, which was August last year. I've been wanting to get a better camera, so we're finally there, thank God. Hey Acreal, how you doing? Still Vanguard veteran fan after the nerf? Yeah, I am actually. I mean, I'm still going to run 5-man Vanguard veteran squad. I don't know if two points per model isn't enough to make me change, and I don't think 2 points per model is enough to make me change out Sanguinary Guard either, to be honest. Like, I'm still going to run Sanguinary Guard. I don't think 2 points per model is enough to change that. Alright, so let's get into it. Starting with, what is this? I'll knock over the model. The Citadel Synthetic Base Brush. That's what we're going to be looking at. I know that synthetic brushes, my shop cancelled all my orders. Somebody bought my Vanguard Veterans. That sucks. I know the synthetic brushes sometimes can last longer than the sable brushes, and some, like, I've bought some synthetic brushes before, like cheap ones off Amazon, that have been pretty good. So let's see how these Games Workshop ones perform. Has anyone ordered them? Did they go? Are they on sale yet, or is this like, have I managed to get myself a preview, an early preview of them? Let me double check Element Games real quick. So the brushes I use from Element are these character brushes, and I talk about them a lot. Element Games character brushes, and do you know what? I just bought some recently, so I'll tell you the price of them. They're £8.50, and I want to say that they last me 3 or 4 months of like constant painting. And you guys have seen my painting techniques. I'm not exactly a pro, so they last like 3 or 4 months of like poor painting techniques, I guess. Let's see. Oh, the synthetic brushes are out for sale now. Alright, I can show you them. So the synthetic brushes are about £5 each. Do you know what? That's not so bad. And so this one that we're going to be using, this base S, is only £3.36. Okay, so I don't know what to expect. I imagine it's not going to be as good as the Element Games brush, and I'm going to very quickly switch over. The small base brush is good. Well, let's see. What I'm doing today is I'm going to be doing the edges of their feet, because I always like to rim my model's feet. I think it helps separate them from their base. So normally I rim my feet in like black if I'm doing a red model, and maybe like red if I'm doing a black model, but for some reason these Sanguinary Guard are I guess older models of mine, and apparently I rimmed the old ones with black, so we're just going to continue the color scheme and rim rim their feet with the black paint. And then I'm going to rim their jump packs as well with black paint, just so that they match the ones that I did a while back. I think my painting has, my colours and my use of colours has maybe improved a bit since I did these guys originally, but I just want them to match. So who all got chapter approved today? Who liked it? Who disliked it? Who's changing their list, I guess? And has anyone been keeping an eye on the sisters reveals today as well? Because it sounds like, you know, Andrew, you guys know Andrew from the weekly show. Andrew's been super excited today about all the sister reveals, and he's talking about how great they're going to be. So I just sent him a message and be like, well, you'll have no excuses when I beat you again, will you? But it sounds like the sisters got some pretty good reveals, and the points costs and stuff as well. You're going to still dirt up the rims when you do the base. Yeah, I mean, I tend to end up going back and forth on on this stuff. I'll do the rims first, and then I'll do the texture paint on the base after, and then I'll have to touch up the rims a little bit. But it's probably, I don't know, it's just the way I do the painting. It's probably why it takes me ages to get every squad finished. You know, this pot of black it's a bit thinner than I'd like it to be. I did shake it an absolute ton as well, but maybe it's just a really old pot of black. Yeah, and I'll have to, like, I already need to touch the gold up here as well, so. Element is fucked for me, unfortunately, as the whole Brexit bollocks has fucked things up for those in Ireland. Ugh. Brexit has been an absolute nightmare, man, I hear you. Especially for, like, Scotland didn't even vote for Brexit, but we got it anyway, you know? So, it's actually, from my understanding, it's hurt a lot of businesses in Scotland as well. And, like, you know, when they ask them, like, you know, all the promises that they made before Brexit, it's like it was all bullshit. Like, so yeah, that sucks that you can't get from Element anymore. I might give the rims. You know what? This black's quite thin. I'm gonna just give the rims a second coat of black right now as well. It'll maybe save me coming back to them later. Bit of a small brush to do the base rims, but whatever, it's fine. I'm new to collecting Blood Angels, and your videos have been a great help. Yesterday I bought the new Codex and Mephiston, and I wanted to pop on and ask what you'd recommend starters to buy. I mean, Cooper Gray, hey Cooper. I've done a few videos on this channel about, like, the top 10 HQ choices and the top 10 unit choices. So, like, those videos are going to be super helpful if you're looking to buy a few things, you know, like, because you're trying to build out your army. But, like, if you're brand new to Blood Angels, then Sanguinary Guard are, like, arguably our most damaging unit that we can field. I have a lot of Sanguinary Guard, and look at me, I'm a veteran player painting more Sanguinary Guard. So that tells you there's just something very good about Sanguinary Guard that you could consider. And then at the moment, I'm swearing by the Phobos troops, and the Phobos troops are your infiltrators and your incursors, and you get both of them. You can get 10. You get a box of 10 of them. I keep knocking this camera tonight. I'm sorry. You get a box of 10 infiltrators or incursors, right? You can build 5 incursors, 5 infiltrators. I think is a great place to start. Hey, Mr. Pogman. Good evening. Anything from the UK is a mess. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. The UK confuses me, right? I don't know why people thought Brexit was going to be a good idea. Like, this black paint is just too thin. I'm going to try and thicken it up a bit. I can't get it. I can't get it without being hit by customs charges. Yeah, they need to. Hopefully, they're going to sort all that out, because it's the same for us now. There was a local business that was trying to deliver cheese or something to Europe, like, you know, like 20 quid, 20, 30 pounds worth of cheese, and apparently they were going to get hit with like an £80 custom charge. So it's just like local business has been like, well, we can't do any business to Europe anymore, and like small local businesses sometimes rely on like their exports and stuff. So yeah, it's just been a complete mess. But yeah, the new chapter approved today was... It was a strange one. I was excited to get the new chapter approved because I was thinking like we're going to get some new changes. It's going to spice things up a bit with the missions, you know, because we've been playing the same missions now for... I don't know, like a year, I guess, because didn't 9th edition release in like July last year? I think it was July last year. If it wasn't July, it was August. So we've been playing the same missions, the same 6 missions or something every match for like a year. So I really thought like some new missions will help spice things up, and I don't suppose it needed too much spicing up, but just maybe a little bit more variation, a new map or two, you know. But yeah, just nothing, or nothing that I can see. I skimmed it very briefly. So hopefully we'll get a proper chance to read it tomorrow, but yeah, it's a strange one. So I mean, missions and stuff are going to be pretty much as you were, I guess. So the first impressions of the synthetic GW brush is fine. Like, I mean, obviously, the thing about GW brushes that we know is that they don't usually last as long as some other brands, I feel like. But like, initial impressions in terms of like the flow of the paint and stuff, it's fine. I mean, it's synthetic brushes are a little bit different, but yeah, I mean, I feel like I've got reasonable enough control. So on Monday night this week, we're going to battle orcs, though. So that's going to be an interesting one. I honestly don't know if I've played orcs in 9th edition. I actually don't think I have. Maybe once, like right at the beginning, but actually maybe not. Like, yeah, I don't know if I've fought orcs in 9th edition. So it'll be a weird one because orcs are obviously getting rule changes soon. So the orc list might not be as super competitive, but still it'll be quite different, you know. We haven't fought nearly enough horde armies with the list that I've been winning games with. We fought Necrons once, and that was really the only quote-unquote horde army that we fought against. So I have no idea yet what Brett's bringing on Monday, orc-wise, but he'll be bringing something, and he knows my list, so I assume if he knows my list, he's going to bring something that he thinks at least can give it a challenge, right? Tier 5, yeah, toughness is going up. Yeah, I mean, that's where maybe, like, someone was mentioning, like, assault cannons, right? Like, assault cannons could actually be really good against orcs. Like, because they'll wound on 3s and you won't get a save because of the -1. So, like, does that mean, like, a ball predator could be good against orcs? I mean, if you ask me, that's the sort of thing that the ball predator should be good against, right? Or that's the sort of... Because the ball predator used to run, like, its twin heavy... Or, sorry, sponson heavy bolters and then the twin assault cannon on top. And I think... Because the flamer is so unreliable with its, like, D6 number of shots, then I always felt like the ball predator was better with assault cannon and heavy bolters. So, like, will it you know, it'll be interesting if that's actually a really good choice against orcs now. But yeah, I still had hoped that this chapter approved would have maybe made a couple of changes to the Ball Predator, because I kind of feel like it just still slightly overcosted in terms of the points. The lads in the north are happy. Full on paramilitary control, unintended consequences. Smuggling is going on big time. Alright, yeah, I mean, I don't really know the ins and outs of Irish politics, but yeah, I mean, Brexit's just made everything a big mess. Do chainswords need a +1 strength buff? What, just because orcs are getting toughness 5? I don't think chainswords need a +1 strength buff. I mean, they got +1 AP last edition. They actually got that this edition, I think, didn't they? So I think chainswords are fine where they are. I think we'll just need to be very clever when we're fighting up against orcs. Like, we need to make sure that if we're going into combat and stuff, that we bring enough attacks to make the kills. But you know, I think chainswords are fine where they are. I just went over my previous 2k list and I'm sitting 17 points over. Yeah, I mean, I think everybody was sitting... I was sitting 61 points over, which is quite a lot. I want to do a video, or I want to do a comparison on the Hurricane Bolter and Scepters now, because I feel like the Hurricane Bolter and Scepters may end up being really interesting, just because they haven't been hit with the crazy points cost that the Plasmas have been hit with. And while I do think the Plasmas are better, I don't think they're 20 points per model better. 20 points per model is a lot. You know, 20 points is like a multi-melta on a Land Raider or something, give or take, you know? Power axes could become the choice. I mean, axes, you know, I've been saying for a while, like, axes and swords, there's so little in between them, right? Typically the swords are going to do more damage just because you get that additional EP, and like, if you combo the swords with Null Zone, then you 100% are going to do more damage because of the -4 EP is a big deal with Null Zone. But, you know, against Custodes, against Death Guard, axes are kind of better inherently, just because you're gonna get that extra on the wound roll. So I mean, like, based on that, it's kind of been like that for a while, where it's like, well, I've been running my squads with, let me get this straight. I've been running, yeah, I think I've been running my squads with 4 swords, 4 axes, and I think I like that, right? Like, and I know some people maybe go all axes or all swords, but I think a mix is good, because you never know who you're going to face, right? And if you're trying to build a list that's going to do well against everything, then you have some swords in there, so you've got some attacks getting pushed into their no invulnerable safe territory, and then you have some axes in there, so you get those extra easier to make wound rolls. And I mean, I guess there's no real right or wrong on how you do that with the Sanguinary Guard, but I like splitting it. I think splitting it is a decent choice. Mick prefers synthetic brushes. I think I prefer the sable ones, but I can understand why. The synthetic ones, they do feel a bit more rigid, so I guess in some ways you maybe can get a little bit more control out of them. I guess the paint doesn't quite sit the same or flow the same, but Oh, that's a mistake. A big one. My hand slipped. Oh well. Redemptor with heavy onslaught cannon is going to be better. Yeah, you're probably right, Like, what is the heavy onslaught cannon strength, actually? Because I usually just run the one onslaught cannon on the other arm. I don't remember the heavy onslaught cannon's strength off the top of my head. Is it strength 6? The battle should have had assault cannon and sponsons. Yeah, I mean, the sponsons have always been a little bit lackluster. I know heavy bolters are a little bit better now with the 2 damage, but... Aren't the plasma 10 points more? No, they're 20 points more, Ahsoka, because you've got to pay for both guns. So while the chapter approved says plus 10 plasma and scepter, you have to pay twice because there's 2 guns on it, right? So it's 60 points per model with the plasma and scepters, where it's just 40 points per model with the bolts. I'm not really sure their logic behind that, to be honest. But I mean, I guess just the plasmas are very, very expensive now. I mean, some people probably still run them at 60 points per model, but like I wasn't even touching them at 55 points per model. But I mean, I guess we'll see how many people continue to use them. I mean, it is a very quote-unquote meta pick, right? I go for axes due to how much 4++ is about. Not always ideal. Swords and lumberjacks do the best. Yeah, I mean, I actually have more models made with axes than swords myself. And I think that came from the previous edition, right, where swords used to be tough strength 4 and axes used to be 5s. So typically in the previous edition, I felt like, and you also had that priest that could give you like +1 strength as well. So yeah, I think in the previous edition, I felt like axes were the way forward. Obviously there was no null zone in the previous edition. But yeah, I've got more guys made with axes than made with swords. But I'm probably going to stick with 50-50. It is nice when the enemy doesn't have any, it's nice when the swords hit things and just basically like make them have no save. And I guess the axes sometimes do that, and you're probably right, there is quite a lot of 4++ and even 5++ around. So there's probably a little bit less value in the swords, especially if you're running a list without null zone. There's probably a little bit less value, but I guess it is what it is, right? Both are good. I mean, swords and axes. Would you prefer playing more Sanguinary Guard or more Vanguard Veterans? I run a squad of both at the moment. I run a squad of 8 Sanguinary Guard and 5 Vanguard Veterans. But in previous lists earlier this edition, I was running. I think I was running 7 Vanguard Veterans, and I was maybe running. I think I might have still been running 8 Sanguinary Guard. I can check. Hold on, I'll tell you. But I think one squad of Vanguard Veterans and one squad of Sanguinary Guard. I mean, that's all I run of jump troops, and I like it, you know. 1 second, I'll tell you. I was running 8 Sanguinary Guard, and then I was running 6 Death Company and 7 Vanguard Veterans. So that was my list earlier this edition. So the Death Company pretty much always deep striked, and the Vanguard Veterans pretty much and the Sanguinary Guard always started on the table. and that was before everybody was running Lightning Claw Vanguard Veterans. I was using them with 3 Power Fists, 3 Chain Swords, and then like the Sergeant with like a Relic Blade and an Infernal Pistol. And I like both squads. I think both have their uses. I mean, the Vanguard Veterans have their uses because the Storm Shields make them super survivable. And then the Sanguinary Guard have their uses because, like I said, they're arguably like our most damaging unit. Or they are the unit for Blood Angels that can do the most damage in a single turn. So, but you know, they are a lot squishier than the Vanguard Veterans. So it's about using them in the correct point in the table. And yeah, I mean, I continue to run both. Like, I've dropped the Death Company in my current list, but I continue to run the Vanguard Veterans and the Sanguinary Guard. And like, when the points changes happened just this week, and like, I knew that the Vanguard Veterans were going up 2 points per model and the Sanguinary Guard were going up 2 points per model, like, dropping either of those squads where it wasn't even, like, I never even entertained it. I was like, I need those squads to make my list what it is, so I have to find ways to get the points I need elsewhere. Yeah, I just replied to one of your comments before the stream, Highland, that I am very tempted by an Inquisitor. I think I might buy one next month. I'm thinking Cotiez seems like the most interesting choice. I like Hector Rex, but I think the reason I like Hector Rex is, you know, that I like really tanky characters. And the fact that Hector Rex has like 6 wounds and he can have a 2-up regular save. Well, sorry, he has a 1-up regular save, right? Because he has that special shield. And then he can basically get a 3-up invulnerable save at all times. So he can kind of almost be like a Custodes captain. And he's only 100 points. So you have a 6-wound character with a 1-up save, a 3-up invulnerable save, and he's only 100 points. And he's a Psyker. And I think he's wielding basically a mastercrafted power sword that does mortal wounds for... Against demons, it's like guaranteed mortal wounds for every wound you make. So, I mean, yeah, I imagine that at the end of the month I'm going to buy Hector Rex and or Cotiez. And I don't know when either of them are going to be, like, I don't know how quickly I'm going to be making them and fielding them, but I'll probably get one of them this month and then maybe one of them, like, next month or something. I like how you split Sanguinary Guard axes and swords, gives you flexibility based on opponents which to allocate wounds to first. Yeah, and I mean, it is nice to have, like you said, the flexibility, Willis, and I don't tailor my lists, right? Like, I make a list and then I play with that list for like 10 games in a row, so I don't know who I'm going to be playing against, what, you know, I don't know who's going to be better, or I don't know what's going to be better, right? The swords or the axes, right? I'm just making a list and then like playing it a bunch of times and then thinking about it from like the standpoint of like, is this list going to do well at tournaments? And so based on that, that's kind of why I have a mix of the Sanguinary Guard. And I mean, I guess based on that as well, that's why I always just have one Infernal Pistol in the Sanguinary Guard as well. You know, just like, I don't, you know, against Drukhari, for example, we talked about how like actually having a bunch of Infernal Pistols in the Sanguinary Guard might actually be super important. So like, if you can't get the transports open against Drukhari, you can have like a really tough game of it. But because I'm making my lists to sort of, I guess what we would say is like fight all corners or fight all armies, then I just have that one Infernal Pistol in there. So yeah, I want to say that, so this was the synthetic base brush. And if any of you guys weren't here at the beginning of the stream, I got given a bunch of these synthetic Games Workshop brushes. One of our channel members sent me a bag with basically every single synthetic brush Games Workshop released, which is super nice of them. So big shout out to 2 Hit to Wound for sending that over. Now, I've done like 4 guys. I'm doing 8 at the moment in this batch paint. So I've done 4 guys with this synthetic brush. And And I feel like, so this is a brand new brush, obviously, first time it's used. I want to say it was, so these only, this retails for like $3.50, and I think for $3.50 that's actually fine. Like, I think I would say that, like, if you're looking for a budget brush that you just want to do something with, then I would be happy to probably spend $3.50 on this brush, no problem. But I'm going to do the rest of the guys with the Element Games brush, and just see how I feel the difference, because I do love these Element Games brushes. They're like my go-to. When I can't get them, I'm very upset. I actually bought some Artist Opal brushes during lockdown at some point, because Element Games were like really struggling to get their brushes in stock, and like I just couldn't get a hold of them. And I enjoyed the Artist Opal brushes as well, but like they're crazy expensive. They're like $15 a brush or something like that. And yeah, I'm not a good enough painter to justify spending $15 on a brush, I feel like. Which Inquisitor powers and abilities are good? I made a video on Inquisitors just on Friday, Biscuit Butt, and it's like a 45-minute long video. You'll find it. It's like the most latest video on the YouTube channel, where we dive into all the Inquisitors and talk about pretty much everything, like from stratagems to synergies to psychic powers. So, yeah, I mean, I guess if you want to talk about Inquisitors, watch that video, and you'll get some ideas for sure. But yeah, the two that really stand out to me were Cotiez and Hector Rex. Like I said, I think Hector Rex stands out to me because he fits my playstyle of building really, really survivable and tanky characters, and especially at 100 points. I feel like the enemy would have to throw a lot at him at 100 points to kill him. My list is mostly based on jump pack units: 10 Vanguard Veterans, 10 Death Company, 10 Sanguinary Guard, and 10 Assault jump pack squads. We don't see many Assault squads. Is the tournament you're going a non-Forge World one? So Cotias is maybe the choice, but other than Spy Network, you want to save the points by taking a homebrew instead. Yeah, the tournament I am going to is a non-Forge World tournament, so I guess that's a good point. I'd kind of forgot that it was a non-Forge World tournament. So based on that, then maybe I buy Cotias this month, and maybe we buy Hector Rex in the near future. I think Cotias is about half the price of Hector Rex, though, because Hector Rex will be a Forge World model. I always take 2 pistols, one can miss. Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense to take the 2 pistols. I actually really dig the bolters on the Sanguinary Guard. I think they're very strong, so like, I guess that's why I just take 1 pistol. Cheap synthetic brushes are best. They cost 20p. Fair enough. I feel like I get a good amount of painting out of the Element Games brushes for the price, so I'm quite happy to. $8.50 every 3 or 4 months to me is fine for brushes, I guess. Oh, did I forget to do this guy's base? Ah, balls. Alright, we'll just quickly sort that. Can you shoot in combat, then attack in melee? Yes. I mean, you can shoot your pistol in combat. You can't shoot it on the turn that you charge into combat, right? But, I mean, once you're in combat, you can shoot your pistol freely, yes. The dude did a video this week of a vampire lord with a red colour scheme and an overall good base, and I thought it'd be a great scheme for Sanguinary Guard and Dante. Which dude? Like the actual Artist Opal channel, or what channel are we talking about? Echo Mirage, sorry. I know Artist Opal have a YouTube channel, but honestly, I guess I'm not subscribed to them. I'm subscribed to quite a few painting channels like Squidmar and Winter Minis, but I'm not subscribed to Artist Opal apparently. I think I've seen a couple of their videos, but yeah, I guess I'm not subscribed to them. Good afternoon, Martin. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, Dreadnoughts are if you're talking Redemptor Dreadnoughts in terms of Redemptor Dreadnoughts probably aren't the most reliable thing in the world, right? Because of their D6 shots on the plasma cannon, but you know, they are very survivable and they do bring some cool stratagems to the table. What I want to say about your large, you know, your 10 Vanguard Veterans, your 10 Sanguinary Guard, your 10 Assault Marines and all that, I like to run more, I assume that you don't have much shooting in your list if you have 10 of all those units. And I think Blood Angels are stronger when we have a good contingent of shooting, honestly. I recommend people take about 500 points worth of shooting. And I guess Redemptors are good at filling that role because they can bring stuff like Wisdom of the Ancient, and they can also just bring general clear. And Redemptors suck up a ton of enemy fire, right? The enemy can't ignore them because the fist that they have is what's the fist? It's, think, John. It's minimum 4 damage, right? They get 6 attacks and it's D3 plus 3 for the fist. So it's like the enemy really can't ignore Redemptor Dreadnoughts, because if they just walk across the board and get into melee combat, you can potentially do like 30 wounds. Actually, you could potentially do 36 wounds in a single turn with the Redemptor Dreadnought in melee combat. So they have to kill the Redemptors. And sometimes on my lists, I'm quite happy if the enemy are going to shoot and try and kill my Redemptors and leave my Sanguinary Guard at full health. I mean, sometimes I'm generally quite okay with that. I'm like, yeah, sure, kill my Redemptors, you know. I'm happy for you to shoot all your multi-meltas on the Redemptor rather than shooting your multi-meltas on my Sanguinary Guard. But yeah, that's just me. Anyone know if GW basing pots are any good? When you say basing pots, do you mean the texture paint, or you mean the pots with actual, like, the little material that you sprinkle on the base? I've noticed that no one mentions Sanguinary Guard with Power Fists. Yeah, I mean, they were good, Anthony. Right now, I guess they're not. And this is why I'm painting Sanguinary Guard with axes and swords again, because I actually have a drawer full of Sanguinary Guard with Power Fists. And my opinion of that right now is that the Power Fist is 5 wasted points. What you get from having the Power Fist, like the +1 to wound, you lose because it's -1 to hit. So you kind of get no bonus from the Power Fist, it feels like, and you pay 5 points for very little / no bonus. So yeah, I mean, in previous editions it was good, but right now I guess it doesn't feel like it's so good. I'll need to subscribe to the Artist Opal channel then, Echo Mirage. We'll check that out. I got so many YouTube subscriptions, it's hard to keep up with all of them. I was trying to make them work with a Flesh Tear successor. Hey Dolph, good evening, how you doing? My Reavers are still in their box. Yeah, I mean, Reavers are a strange squad. I mean, Reavers look super cool, but yeah, I'm really not sure why they gave the Reavers bolt pistols -1. You know, like, sorry, an additional -1, and they left their knives. Like, I guess if they just made their knives the same as chainswords, right, like -1, and left the bolt pistols the same, because I think at the moment the Reavers are -2 on their pistols, but like, for me it's, you know, who cares about their 4 pistol shots? What you care about is the 30 attacks you're getting from the knives. So if they'd made the knives -1 and just left the pistols alone, I guess people would probably run Reavers, because then they would actually be kind of interesting. but the way that they've done it is they've made it so like no one cares about Reavers, I guess. Hector Rex is £38 and Inquisitor Cotias is 15. Then I guess Inquisitor Cotias seems to be the default. Cotias is pretty cheap, right? If you compare him to like what was he? Is he like, he's like 95 points, right? You're talking about the GW texture paint then, I believe, Robert, and I use it for all of my models. The paint I use is this is why I see all these models at the moment have like Xandri dust painted on their base, right? Xandri dust is actually the exact same color as this Armageddon dust. So Armageddon dust, if you look inside, is just Xandri dust, but it's all that crusty, whatever you want to call it. It's basically Xandri dust with sand inside it. I mean, you could probably make this stuff cheaper yourself if you just bought a pot of Xandri dust and filled it up with sand, I guess. But yeah, I use it on all the models. So there's a completed model. And once, so it's very simple. Like the way I do it is base coat it with the Xandri dust, paint on the Armageddon dust, then I wash that Armageddon dust with Agrax Earthshade, then I do a tiny little bit of a dry brush with Tyrant Skull, and all my models are based exactly the same way like that. I used to have them all based Goblin Green, but when I came back to the hobby and like Goblin Green I guess was a bit retro, I just started to rebase them all, and that's how I've done all mine, Robert. And it's a simple enough and cheap enough way to do it. If you don't want to go too crazy on the base and you just want something that looks decent, then I'd say it's fine. I'm happy with how my bases look. I feel like sure they could look better, but like, you know, I'm always complaining to you guys about how slow I am at painting, and you know, I have a family that I have to spend a lot of my time with, and I don't have time to go any further, unfortunately. So, but at the same time, I think it's okay. I like how they look. $95 points for Cotias. Yeah, so Cotias, if you compare him to like your librarian with a jump pack, I think he's 20 points cheaper. I'm trying to work out what that 20 points lets me do if we did decide to take Cotias. Like, I feel like it lets me do something important. I can't think what, but I do feel like there was something important in my list that I could do if I just had a few more points, but didn't quite have enough. I'm gonna have to think long and hard about it now. $95 points. It'll come to me. I'll remember why I thought Cotias could be interesting. I think a spy network alone is like one of the most interesting things that you can possibly do. No, you're welcome, Robert. No problem. But yeah, I mean, you could probably make, like, I'm sure you could make that texture paint or something similar cheaper by yourself. But I mean, I think so. I've just, so when I came back to the hobby a few years ago, because I was out of the hobby for a long time, when I came back, I started repainting everything because everything was painted by me when I was like a 15-year-old kid, and it was when I was a kid, I cared more about playing the game than I did about painting. I mean, I guess I care more about playing now, still, but I do want my models to look not shit. So, I've painted. I have like a few projects on the go at the moment, right? I have the Sangre Guard on the go. I have my Librarian Dreadnought on the go. I have the Vanguard Veterans and Blade Guard Veterans on the go as well. But it did work out, like, once these 4 projects are completed, which I think is going to be in like the next month or 2, there's going to be 8,000 points painted since I came back. So, and like that is my second pot of that texture paint. So I guess probably, and it's starting to go down quite a bit. So I would guess that, like, I think the pots of texture paint, Robert, cost about $4. So I guess you can probably base around 4,000 or 5,000 points worth of models, depending on how thick you put it on. So at that point, you're basically talking it costs £1 to use the texture paint for 1,000 points of models. I mean, like, sure, you could make it cheaper, but like if it's just going to be £1 for 1,000 points of models, then that's probably fine, right? That's really not that expensive in the long run. I mean, unless you're a machine and you're painting 10,000 points of models every week. I feel less is more regarding bases almost always. Greeting, Marcel. How you doing? Yeah, I mean, I think that the Games Workshop texture paint is a very, I guess it's a lazy but also reasonably quick way of making them look decent. And yeah, you can just slap down the texture paint, just do a quick wash, and then a dry brush, and you're done. You know, so it's generally quite quick. I'm going to be washing all these Sangre Guards wings with Null Oil pretty soon in this process. Like, probably actually after I finish just touching up all these sort of rims on the jump pack and their feet. I'm going to get the gold back out and fix all the mistakes I've made. I'm noticing when I'm doing this, a few of these backpack bits, the silver's a bit rough as well. So I'll try and fix all that, and then I think I'm going to wash all the wings and all the silver on these models with Null Oil. I did 3k points of AdMech with a half bottle of Marian Iron Earth. I'm guessing, Dovin, that's a Games Workshop texture paint as well. Do you know what? Some people on YouTube literally paint what I've painted in 3 years in like a 24-hour session. I shit you not. There's a guy who I've watched a few times. Like, I think his channel's called like Goobertown Hobbies or something. Or yeah, I think it's Goobertown. Goober Town. That might be all one word. The guy's a machine, right? He'll stay up 24 hours painting. And he'll do like a whole start collecting box in like one sitting. I'm like, dude, like, how? Like, I would have to have so many energy drinks, and I would just feel crap. Like, I can't stay up like 24 hours. You know, like if I don't get sleep after like 15 hours, like I would 100% just fall asleep in the middle of a challenge like that. I don't know how he manages to stay up. I used some Valhalla Blizzard on my Sangre Guard. I have seen Sangre Guard with the white bases. They are pretty cool as well, man. So Valhalla Blizzard, I'm pretty sure, is also a GW texture paint, right? So yeah, I think the trick, Robert, is that I think all those GW texture paints are there is also a matching color, right? Because they're basically just another color with like sand or whatever type of texture element they put into the pot. So I guess like if you find a color that you think works, and some people have done the Blood Angels on the red, right? Because like there's a red texture paint. I'm a moody bastard, but I'll get 8 hours. There's a red texture paint that's, I think it's called like Martian Earth or something, and like Blood Angels are basically supposed to be on Baal, right, which is red. So like I know it's a, like quote unquote a Mars paint, because I think it's mainly kind of for AdMech, but I think it's kind of awesome. I've seen some people use it on Blood Angels as well. I did a Night Castellan and 4 Armigers that took up almost a whole pot of Astral Granite. Yeah, I mean, I guess if you're doing Knights and you have those giant bases that they're all on, then yeah, maybe use a bit more texture paint. He does a ton of stuff with his airbrush. Yeah, I mean, I guess the guys that are painting all night use an airbrush to sort of help get down like their base coats much quicker, right? So what is everybody working on tonight, hobby-wise? Or what is everybody doing? Robert, you're going to pick up some Astral Granite. Nice. James Wapple does amazing miniature painting. He's on Twitch and YouTube, paints all his models with oil paints and they look incredible. There's so many people, there's so many good content creators out there for painting now. You could probably just watch painting creators all day, every day on YouTube, right? I'm going to make, now that I've got my new camera, I'm going to make some battle ready painting videos. Because I paint kind of a bit simpler, like less highlights and less coats and stuff, but I do try and get like good results. So I'm gonna make some battle ready painting videos. So hopefully I'll be able to share those before too long, and you can get some enjoyment out of them. But yeah, I'm a much simpler painter than a lot of people that are around at the moment. The Iron Earth is crackle paint. I don't think they make sand paint, but Armageddon sand mixes with Mephiston really well. Yeah, I mean, I don't have too much experience using the red texture paints, but I have seen some really cool looking models that use the red texture paints. So I feel like you can definitely get like a good red that's sort of like, I think it goes with like Martian Earth, I think is the texture paint name. Sculpting some miniatures and editing some videos, saying Earthman Brick. I'm hyping myself up to start Land Raider Crusader. Wish me luck. Good luck, man. Get on the Land Raider Crusader. And Emperor's Son coming in with a $10 super chat. Hosting a big game tonight in my house. Gonna have about 6 people there doing some 2K games. Shout out to my boy Marcus, who can't make it today because he's going to be working. Thank you, Emperor's Son. I would love to see some pictures of your games if you can put them up onto the Discord group later, you know. But yeah, no, thank you so much for the $10. Shout out to you and shout out to Marcus. Appreciate that, man. Hey Jeff, good evening. How you doing? Dovin, finishing last 3 Assault Terminators for my 1500 point tournament tomorrow. Isn't that just the thing, Dovin? When you're painting the night before a tournament, that's why I'm painting like crazy at the moment. Like, I don't want to be in that situation where like I have to paint the night before a tournament, because then I end up rushing. But yeah, I know the feeling all too well. Running the vacuum cleaner, we're redoing our kitchen cabinets, says Martin. Killing hordes in Days Gone. Do you know what? I bought Days Gone for the PlayStation. I haven't installed, or maybe I've installed it. I was going to say I haven't played it yet. I will get round to playing it. And yeah, thank you so much, Emperor. Appreciate it. I haven't seen you in a little while, Emperor. So it's nice to see you, and it's nice to get $10 super chat. Appreciate it. Crimson Fist Infiltrators and Roman Legionnaires. Yeah, do you know what? I have some models that I really want to paint for another board game that I bought a little while ago. So, you know, maybe after we finish all these Sangreguard, I might take a night or something on stream and paint for like another game that I've got. Because, yeah, while I love painting the Warhammer 40,000 stuff, it kind of always ends up consuming a lot of my time, and I don't spend enough time. I've got a couple of other games I play that I need to do some painting on as well. And people ask me to do painting videos, but I prefer scratch building. I hate to infringe on other people's territories when there's so much better people out there doing a better job on things. I mean, I wouldn't worry about that Earthman brick. I mean, I am not I am not a good painter. I mean, like, all my stuff is battle ready. I figure if people want to watch, I wouldn't worry about infringing on other people on YouTube, right? Like if someone came along tomorrow and made a Blood Angels channel, you know, like, more power to them, right? I guess, like, yeah, maybe I'd be a bit miffed, but at the same time, like, I feel like there's so many people in the world, and there's so many videos out there on YouTube. As long as you're making content that people enjoy to watch, then I don't really think you're stepping on other people's toes, right? Like, you know, like I have Warhammer content creators that I watch, and sometimes I watch their videos and they give me inspiration to make a video for my channel. It doesn't mean I don't think my channel takes views away from anybody else, right? And likewise, I don't think they take views away from me. I think maybe people could just enjoy both channels, I guess. I mean, it's not like you have to pay for YouTube. If you don't want to pay, you don't have to pay, you know? So yeah, I mean, if you want to make a painting tutorial video, I'd say make it, man. Like, you know, even if you want to make it Blood Angels, still make it. You know, like, I wouldn't be mad if someone else put out a painting video on Blood Angels. I mean, if it's a good video, I'd probably watch it and take some pointers and then tell people, like, hey, have you seen this guy's video? Because it's really useful or something, you know? I think YouTube, I mean, how many people on YouTube, you know, how many creators is there? How many, you know, I think there's enough. I think there's enough people in the world that you don't have to worry about stepping on other people's toes. I liked your older painting videos, Commander. It's great for neophyte painters. I don't know what you mean by neophyte painters, sorry. I know that staying up 24 hours is generally pretty bad for you. Because your body uses, like, we don't just sleep for no reason, right? Your body's generally, like, recovering its cells and stuff when we're sleeping, so. But I mean, if someone can stay up and paint for 24 hours for a marathon, or for like a charity or something, then, you know, good for them. What do you think of Vanguard vets with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields? I mean, Vanguard vets with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields are good. I have 3 of them made with Thunderhammers and Storm Shields. I think they're kind of costly, so I wouldn't run like a whole squad of them, because I think, well, they used to be 37 points per model. I guess with the change now, they're 39 points per model, so they're even more costly. So yeah, I wouldn't run a whole squad with them, but I'd run some. I'd be happy to put a couple of Thunderhammers into the squad, if that makes sense. Good evening, Steel Rain. How you doing? Thanks for tuning in. Kraken Battles Gaming, thank you for subscribing, man. How you doing? Good evening. We're on the charge. We're heading towards 6,000 subscribers. We aren't far away. Another week or two, I think. I'm feeling pretty cool about that. So conspiracy time. I bought some Blood Angels Assault Terminators and they had a major sprue flaw, so they sent me a second box. It came in a Forge World box, and then another buddy bought some. They came in a Forge World box too. Does anyone think they might be phasing out old school Terminators? You're talking about you bought the Blood Angel specific. Thank you, Aaron, for becoming a member. That's very much appreciated, dude. I appreciate that. This has been a cool stream tonight, guys. Thank you for the support. It means a lot. I mean, I was showing you off earlier that I have a brand new camera now. I mean, I need to get a new HDMI. Like, I don't have a HDMI capture card, so I guess I'll be getting that next month. But like, I wouldn't have been able to get the new camera without all the support you guys give me. So, yeah, like, thank you so much. It just goes on and on. I don't know if they're phasing things out. Do you know what? It's weird, man. Speaking of Blood Angels, Terminators, and Forge World boxes, I don't know if you remember this. Forge World actually used to do Blood Angel specific Terminator shoulder pads, and they were awesome. Cracking Battle. Oh, following on Twitch as well. Appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. So yeah, Forge World used to do Blood Angel specific Terminator shoulder pads, right? And yeah, I felt like they were awesome. And like, I bought a set of them. They were expensive, but so is everything on Forge World. So it was maybe like $10, I guess. Maybe even $12 for like 10 Blood Angel specific shoulder pads. But you didn't need to use 10 on one squad, right? Because you just put like one on each Terminator. So although it was like $10, it would essentially probably do 10 Terminators. And yeah, they did a really cool. They did like these cool resin Blood Angels Terminator shoulder pads, and then like I guess one day they just cancelled it. So it's interesting you say that the Blood Angels Terminators are now coming from Forge World. I don't think they're phasing out anything quickly, right? Like I think that the book that came out today kind of shows that like things are just going slow for Games Workshop at the moment. Like, chapter approved. This year's book is basically the carbon copy of last year's book. Very little changes. So yeah, it feels to me that like some things are going pretty slowly, and if there is a plan to phase out Firstborn Marines, I think it's a long way away. Like, probably like, based on the speed that we've had chapter specific Primaris releases, like it's got to be like 10 years or something. About to start. Vanguard veterans are amazing right now. If you are going to run a bunch with Thunderhammers, try and get some in the squad with chainswords and try and get some in the squad with lightning claws, just to keep the costs down, and also to have, when models start dying, you don't want to be dropping 40-point models off the board straight away, right? So if you have those cheaper models with the chainswords, you just take the wounds on them, and that's generally why I recommend. Like, it's probably kind of the similar if you run Death Company, right? Like, if you run Death Company with hammers, you kind of always want to have some guys in the squad with chainswords. So when the Death Company start dying, you obviously keep the hammer models alive, and you take off some of the, you take the wounds and stuff on some dead chainsword guys, right? Did you see some of the new sister stuff? Miracle Dice looks obnoxious, but some needed nerfs arrived to units and strats. I did see that they don't get Miracle Dice for rolling ones on morals anymore, right? So they are going to get slightly less Miracle Dice Reziel. Oh, I didn't finish this guy. What the hell? And I did see some other things like Retributors aren't going to be allowed to move and shoot with no penalty anymore. So I guess that nerfs Retributors coming out of transports a little bit. I believe one of the orders of the sisters also lost their Feel No Pain. And now it's against mortal wounds only. So it does seem like sisters have taken a little bit of a nerf. Andrew still seemed very excited about it. Because he was talking a lot. We have a group chat earlier, like me and with the Plastic Crackhead guys, and like Andrew seemed very excited about the sister stuff, and like he was shouting about it and stuff. And I just messaged him and actually said, I messaged him along the lines of something like, "Oh, if sisters are so good now, then you'll have no excuse when I beat you next time." So trying to rub it in a little bit. Minis is on the way out. This is an old nugget. I mean, the Terminators are a bit strange, and they have added Blade Guard veterans to First Company, so I mean that is true. But here's the thing, right? And I am the biggest guy on the lore, right? Like I've read a lot of the Blood Angels books, and I actually just picked up the omnibus that has like the I've got it actually just sitting out of shot here. The new Blood Angels omnibus that they just released. I was thinking if I get some time off this summer, I'm going to sit in my garden and read the Blood Angels book. But yeah, I am the biggest guy in the lore. But like, and it also seems, correct me if I'm wrong, that the new codex had a lot less lore stuff in it than the previous codex. Because the previous codex had like pages about every single unit. You know, it would be like, you know, the Redemptor Dreadnought is very strong, and it would have like a whole paragraph about him lore wise and stuff. It feels like in the new codex that's just all disappeared, or at least a decent amount of that stuff has disappeared. Now, I guess that brings me on to your point about Blade Guard Veteran being added to First Company. Now, if you go to the Space Marine Codex and read the section about Blade Guard Veteran, it will say that very much, right? The Blade Guards are Leadership 9, they are part of First Company, etc. But, like, I don't think we've ever got any lore, like, since Indomitus released, I don't think there's ever been any specific Blood Angels lore about, like, hey, are Blade Guards just joining First Company? I know, I guess, post-Devastation of Baal, we lost a lot of people. I believe post-Devastation of Baal, and I guess there's a spoiler here if you haven't read Devastation of Baal, there was only one Sanguinary Guard left, so he was going to have to basically rebuild the Sanguinary Guard. And I imagine if there's only one Sanguinary Guard left, and I believe the canon number of Sanguinary Guard is 25, right? So if the Sanguinary Guard basically took 90% losses, then you would guess that the First Company have taken a lot of losses as well, probably like 80 or 90%. Against High Fleet Leviathan, but like I don't think there's anywhere that's actually ever, like I don't think there's anywhere official. I don't buy White Dwarf, so maybe you guys have read it in White Dwarf and you know more than me. I honestly wouldn't have time to read White Dwarf, what with making YouTube videos, doing all these hangouts, and looking after my daughter, right? Like there's just, as much as I would like to read to White Dwarf, like I would literally have no time. I find it hard to keep up with all the questions and messages in Discord, right? And I reply to every single comment on the YouTube channel as well, which on some videos it's not many, but like one of my videos had 300 comments. I literally spent my whole week on that video answering comments. Like I was lying in bed on my mobile phone answering comments on the video because I made this thing where I was like, I'm going to try and answer every comment because I feel like answering comments helps with engagement, you know, and it makes people feel like their comments are appreciated and they're not just writing away to a black hole. I'm sure in some YouTube channels you write a comment and like maybe they don't get read or whatnot. So I was trying to not be that guy where you guys write a comment and like it just doesn't get read or it doesn't get an answer, you know. So who are you then, Earthman Brick? Because I don't know how you know Andrew's that's Andrew's nickname from like 20 years ago, right? Like no one calls Andrew Mulzo anymore, not for like 20 years. Steele and I were discussing land speeders last night. These ATVs, I think the speeders are pretty competitive. He's wanting to avoid old firstborn kits. I think I have a land speeder, 2 of them actually, and yeah, I don't think they're bad. I mean, I guess somebody else said that like it's going to be harder to deploy a land speeder into cover, which I think is a valid point. Let me just top up this water a tiny bit. Yeah, so I think it's going to be harder to put land speeders into cover, but I mean they are survivable because they're toughness 6 and they've got like. Has a land speeder got 10 wounds? I haven't run a land speeder at all in 9th edition, so I actually don't know, but I feel like I did look at them in one tactics video and maybe it was 10 wounds. It's definitely, oh maybe I'm bullshitting, maybe it's 8 for a land speeder. I feel like 8 makes more sense. I think 10 might be, yeah, I think 10's too many. But yeah, someone who's looking at the codex, tell us, land speeder 8 or 10 wounds? I literally have 100 Firstborn Marines. Dude, I have so many Firstborn Marines. I have so many tactical squads. I used to play in like 4th and 5th edition. And in like 4th edition, the staple of my army was like 4 tactical squads and like 2 Devastator squads. And then a Death Company. Like, when I used to play, I don't even think there was such a thing as Sanguinary Guard. It was the Blood Angels Honor Guard. So yeah, I hear you on the the so many first editions. All the sisters coming out of transports are nerfed. No more advance and charge stratagem. Oh really? That's big. That's cool, Rezio. Feel No Pain is being phased out entirely. Iron Hands are the only army that still have army wide. I don't think it will survive their next codex. We went to school together. Me and you went to school together, Earthman Brick. Or you went to school with Andrew. Oh, it's 6 wounds for land speeders. The big Dark Angels 179. Okay, well, I guess that's 6 wounds, toughness 6, and just a standard 3+ save. Can you get like a -1 to hit on the Land Raiders, maybe from like a stratagem? Probably only if they advanced, right? Similar. Oh, what's that? Fire? No, it's not Fire and Fade. I forget the name of it now. Skillful Riders, I think you can play on Land Raiders, right? I'm really liking the 4 damage sniper captain. He has the synergy with the Death Company as you don't need to daisy chain for rerolls. Explain the sniper captain to me then. He's a Phobos captain with what? We both went to Elgin Academy back in the day. You were the year above me. Okay. Well, I'm glad to have you here. I'm trying to think, because Andrew was 2 years above me. So I know most of Andrew's friends, but that's because I lived next door to Andrew when I was a kid. I can't think. I mean, did we ever play Warhammer then? Because I was Blood Angels even all the way back in Elgin Academy, right? Do you remember that? Phobos captain with Gift of Foresight and Expert Marksman has concealed position and a 4 damage sniper with Gift of Foresight rerolls. What's Expert Marksman do again? I'm just going to bring that up. Hold on. Phobos captain. Phobos captain. I used to hang out with Colin. Alright, okay. Well, I mean, if you're still local to the area, you know you'd be welcome to come and have a game sometime, Earthman. Right, Captain and Phobos armor. Mastercrafted Insignia Bolter. Each time you select a target, so you're shooting a 4 damage -2 assault 1 bolter. I'm guessing he has a camel cloak. This is the Ultramarines version. Let me change this. Okay, and he's actually got Omni Scramblers. Okay, so he can't be deep striked against. Marksman honors for the +1 damage. Yeah, I mean, he gets 1 shot, which is... I mean, at -2, I guess you push them onto their 4-up save. And I guess it is good if they fail it, right? Like, 4 damage to a character. So you can probably average about 8 damage to a character per game. What's the range on that? 30 inches? I mean, it's not bad. I guess, what, 95 points? I guess it's not bad either. What's letting him give Death Company in that rerolls, though? I don't get. I'm not sure. Marksman's honors. Oh great, I just dropped the brush. Oh, there it is. Okay. Master Marksman, add 1 damage to ranged weapons. Oh, you're making him chapter master. What? So you could deploy him concealed forward and then use that on the Death Company. Is that right? He's not bad paired with Eliminators. Yeah, I mean, I guess he's not bad paired with Eliminators. I mean, Eliminators have BS2 actually, so he could just be stood next to a squad of Eliminators. I mean, maybe that's an option. 180 points and you're just sniping things? I haven't had the greatest luck with Eliminators, honestly. I only used them once. Or twice, maybe. I just felt like they didn't do as much damage as I expected them to be able to do. Maybe I just had a couple of poor games with them. I need to try them again. I mean, they have come down in points now, right? Phobos captains a peach to sit beside Eliminators. I've done that a fair bit and will be doing even more now with the drop. Yeah, that's interesting, I suppose. Man, there's so many good choices for HQs at the moment in the army. It's difficult, I find anyway. What's the range on Eliminators? Yeah, I mean, I guess it does solve the problem like I have, where my captain ends up going forward in the board, and then you don't have the rerolls in the backfield, right? So you'd basically be 90 points plus 75. Hold on, I can do that math. 95 plus 75 is 170. So they'd be 20 points more than a squad of Eradicators with heavy melt rifles. But I'd need to drop a HQ to make it to work. I don't know what HQ I could drop. I'm still randomly lurking. Love Eliminators. I really think they can work. My sister Dominion's getting to pre-game move their Immolator onto objective, jump out and then roll into the enemy lines, flame them, 1 CP to detonate when they die. So juicy. Yeah, I mean, it's just, I kind of need to get all the data on the new sister book, and it went up for pre-order today, right? So I guess it's dispatched, or it's released maybe like next week, is it? You all are sleeping on chaplains, by the way. I'm not sleeping on chaplain, Robert. I love the chaplain on a bike, the Primaris one. I just don't know how I can fit him into my list. I was running him with a 4 damage Crozius as well, which I actually think is super strong. It's 4 damage per swing, and 6s do mortal wounds, right? I don't know how I fit him in. Because I've got 2 Psychers, the Priest and the Captain. The only option, I suppose, would be to drop the Priest. And I mean, I suppose you could drop the Priest now he's been nerfed so hard. But I mean, the Priest's still good even with the increased point cost. I'm trying to think. I know people that hang around with Colin, Earthman Brick, Sean, McGlone, I can't think. I'm racking my brain here. Alright, as always when I rim their feet here, I made a ton of mistakes, so I'm going to go back in with the gold and tidy this shit up. Chaplain is greater than a Smash Captain, both survivable and attack. I mean, the Chaplain does a lot of damage. I run a Terminator Chaplain, use a strat to recite out of phase. I mean, that's definitely good. Oh, Les. Oh, wow. Okay, man. It's been a long time, Stephen. How you doing? Last time I spoke to you, you were working at the paper mill in Aberdeen, right? Because I mean, that's like 15 years now or something. Because I think I left that job in like 2000 and... Do you know what? I had that job just before I started working in Elgin. So yeah, I started in Elgin in 2006. So yeah, I mean, I guess the last time I saw you was probably like 2005. Oh, even if you're not local to Elgin, Lessels, you need to. I will tell Andrew and Colin that I was speaking to you on my stream, and you need to come through some Monday. Just hang out, man. That would be cool. It's been too long. Charlie slapped on a Baker jump pack. Yeah, Lessels, if you're not in Discord, man, jump on the Discord after the stream or something and send me a DM. Where are you living now? Are you still in Aberdeen or are you somewhere else? My brother lives in Glasgow, Captain. Good evening, Torzen. How you doing? Oh, you are in Aberdeen. Oh well, look, Colin's in Inverness, and he literally drives through all the time for games. So, and we sometimes do games on Saturdays and stuff. You know, do you actually still play, or do you have an army? See, if you say you have a Dakari army or something, I'm going to be like, right, you're getting on the channel, because everybody keeps asking me to play Dakari, and we don't have anyone that plays it. Did Nightbringer get a nerf? I mean, I don't know. Were you expecting his points cost nerf, or were you expecting a nerf somewhere else? I mean, I kind of feel like he's a... Nightbringer's an interesting one, right? Like, he does cost a lot of points, but like he is also quite killable as well if you use the tactics against him. I mean, the Catan are their psychic power, or their Catan powers. I guess they're not psychic powers. Their Catan powers are generally pretty great, but like, I feel like I don't feel like they're necessarily overpowered. I feel like they're strong, but like I don't know if I feel like they're overpowered. Dukari is that Elder or Dark? Yeah, Dukari or Dark Elder now. They changed all the names a few years back, I guess, so that you could put copyrights on them, I guess. That's when Space Marines changed to Adeptus Astartes and all that sort of stuff. I actually have no idea when they changed that. Does anyone... When did they change Space Marines to be Adeptus Astartes? What edition was that? Or were they always Adeptus Astartes and I just don't remember, and then they actually started calling them that a bit more than Space Marines? Yeah, I heard about that. Repentia, you actually have an old school Dark Elder army? No way. No way. Alright, we need to get you updated. Yeah, definitely message me on Discord, man. It's not that long a drive from Aberdeen. Yeah, I saw Repentia fight on death, but they have to pay CP for that, right? Or not? I mean, it just well, either or, right? If you don't have to pay the CP and they can just fight on death, that once again reinforces my desire or belief that to be an effective Blood Angels player, you need 500 points of shooting in your list, because there you will have to kill the Repentia with shooting, because if they get to fight on death, the whole thing is that Repentia delete whoever they fight against, right? 1 CP, okay, geez, that's strong, like borderline too strong. I mean, that nerfs suppression fire against them as well, which is one of our main ways to deal with the Repentia, so yeah, that's going to be tough. That's going to be rough. I guess we'll find out fully when the book releases next week. Things that can melee kill rhinos and have flamers is the answer to the Repentia, namely DC Dreads. Yeah, I mean, DC Dreads, I mean, that's one of the reasons the Centurions are sticking around in my list, right? Is like they are kind of a hard counter to Repentia, and I guess to the same extent, Aggressors could be considered a counter to the Repentia. Just, I don't think many people run Aggressors anymore. And I don't think Aggressors are necessarily a quote-unquote a bad unit. Like, I still think they're a decent unit. I guess just the nerf to them at the beginning of 9th edition was so large that, like, I think a lot of people just, like, instantly, like, wrote them off / ignored them because they were like, oh my god, the Aggressors were brilliant in 8th edition. Like, absolutely brilliant. They were a staple of my 8th edition list. They were one of the strongest units I felt like in 8th edition. I used to run them 100% around the Standard of Sacrifice, and I felt like I got huge value out of them. They were so survivable. I run 1 Flamer and a Dread drop pod. D2 makes Aggressors not that great but if you're low in points, they might work. Yeah, I mean, I guess that is the. Yeah, the damage 2 is probably one of the main reasons that aggressors are feeling that they do feel a little bit weaker, I guess, now. But I mean, I guess if you need something to hold center board with flamers on, and you don't have a Death Company Dreadnought, and you do have aggressors, bear in mind there was easy to build aggressors that released with those flamers. I mean, I think that's an option. And I don't think it's bad. It's maybe not the strongest, but yeah, it's not bad. I honestly don't know if what we're meant to do if Elder and Tau are this strong will be blown off the table before we get to them. Yeah, I mean, I guess that. Do you run any shooting in your army? Or no, Captain? Because I mean, that's why I run the shooting, is because I feel like we need something to shoot back so that. Like, I've played games in previous editions where, like, I've lost too much of my army trying to get across the board. Like, my whole army was melee. I know that I need to... Obviously, if your whole army's melee, you have to get across the board. And, like, in doing so, you take too many losses. And that's the end of the game, just because you took too many losses trying to get across the board. And, I mean, that's a thing that happens, I guess. Any idea where GW is dragging its heels on a new Dante model? I think we'd see new Sanguinary Guard, Priest, Death Company, Primarch before the new Dante. I have no idea where they're dragging their heels on a new Dante Jägerbomb. I feel like Dante is so popular, and I mean, like, if you just do the maths, in that, like, well, you know, we're coming up to 6,000 subscribers on this channel, and I don't even think I'm close to having all the Blood Angels players. So there's probably like 10,000 Blood Angels players in the world or more. So if they release a new Dante, pretty much he'll be $25 and everyone will buy him. So that's literally like £250,000, if my maths is correct. Yeah, £250,000 or something if they just released a new Dante. So 100% they should release a new Dante. The model's super old. I mean, and I don't know if you read the lore books, Jägerbomb, but the most recent novel of Blood Angels, and I guess if you've not read the most recent novel and you don't want the spoiler, then like turn off your headset for like 20 seconds and I'll say real quick. But the most recent novel, Dante was ready to undergo the the Rubicon and become a Primaris Marine, but they were too worried about him because he was so old, like dying during the transition, because I guess the transition to Rubicon is not 100% still. So I think I would be super surprised. Like, so basically what happens in the book is Mephiston undergoes the transformation instead of Dante. But yeah, I feel like people wanted a new Mephiston as well, and people did like the new Mephiston model. Personally, I felt the rules for the new Mephiston model were super lackluster, right? Like, +1 attack, +1 wound, to me, it was not enough. You know, Mephiston's a bloody god almost in the books, and like, how he's represented on the table right now is not how he's represented in the books at all. So I guess the concern probably yourself and a lot of people will have, like, or myself will have maybe, is if the way they do it is Dante does the Rubicon and he gets +1 attacks, +1 wounds, like I think you'll still be disappointing. I think they need to, hopefully the story, like, we're all, and if I don't know if you read the books, Jaeger Bombs, but Dante keeps having these visions apparently as well, and in these visions he sees a golden angel, I believe, maybe fighting. Someone in chat correct me if I'm wrong. Dante sees he's not fighting Horus. I think he's fighting. I'm drawing a blank on the name. he's fighting Abaddon, right? Like, he keeps seeing these visions of a golden angel fighting Abaddon or something, I believe. And I think, so, like, I don't know if it's in his current state Dante can really stand up to Abaddon. So I think what needs to happen is Dante has to go through the Rubicon. Something happens during that like really buffs him up. And Adam from our Discord room here, or our channel, always has had this cool idea that apparently Dante's mask has like the last drop of Sanguinius's blood in it or something. So the idea is that Dante's going to die in the Rubicon. They're going to give him the last drop of Sanguinius's blood, and it's going to transform him into some sort of like demigod Primarch character. And then maybe that is going to be the future where Dante fights Abaddon. I don't know. I feel like there's a lot they could do there, and I feel like everybody's screaming out / everybody wants it. So I don't know why they've not done it already. I mean, to me, it seems like a surefire win. I don't think anyone's super attached to the horrible old metal model that is like 25 years old now. In fact, you know, if you look at the Blood Angel subreddit, people are like actively modding. People post their photos of them making conversions of Dante, making him look more like he should look and how powerful he should be and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's a tricky one, and I guess I have no information, so it's just a wait and see sort of thing. But like, I don't know why they wouldn't do that, right? Like, to me, it feels like it's something that they should do. I run a Redemptor and a variable amount of attack marines. Rumor Mill says they're going to have Dante die heroically when they bring the Emperor back. Okay. And is it going to be Dante against Abaddon? Is that the vision that he keeps seeing? Because it didn't quite make it very clear, the vision he was seeing. Like, because part of me was thinking, like, is the vision he's seeing a vision of the Sanguinor? Because like, Dante is one of the few people that actually sees the Sanguinor as well, right? A lot of the other Blood Angels haven't ever met / seen the Sanguinor, I believe. Any BA? Oh, thank you for subscribing, your ma. Nice name. Any BA novel recommendations for getting into the lore? Yeah, I mean, start if you've not read the Dante book, start there, because it's a great trilogy, and you get Dante, you get Devastation of Baal, and you get Darkness in the Blood, and they'll get you into the current lore. There's a lot of older novels that will like set the scene and stuff of like the chapter as a whole. But if you just want to get caught up in the storyline as is now, that's the 3 books that you want to buy. And let me do a really big plug here and tell you that if you've never used Audible before, and Audible is basically audiobooks, so you download them on your phone and you can listen to the whole book, and they're read for you, and they're read by people that do like the Warhammer ones are done really nicely, right? Like, they have like different people reading different parts of the story. You have voice actors. They're very cool. I highly recommend that you get some Blood Angels audiobooks, and the whole Dante series is available on Audible. And if you use the link in the video description down below, there's a link to Audible. If you use that before you buy a book, like, you get a free month, so you get a free book, and I actually get a couple of bucks as well, because I guess like it's a referral link. So I use Audible all the time, and there's always deals on Audible as well. And I think they have all the Mephiston books on there. There's like a whole trilogy of them, and they have the whole Dante series on there as well, which is a trilogy. And yeah, the production value of them is generally very good as well. I missed a comment there. How would you feel about Dante getting Angel's Wings during the transformation? I mean, it would be cool. I don't see why not. I mean, like, I don't think they're going to give us a new chapter master. You know, people are too attached to Dante, and I think they will sell a lot of models if they do an upgraded Dante. You know, it's strange. Marneus Calgar got a release last edition. I wouldn't mind a new Astaroth 2. Yeah, I mean, Astaroth feels kind of weak to me at the moment, so having him go Primaris 2 would be kind of nice. But yeah, like I what was I going to say? Oh, come on. I have no problem. Yeah, that was it. Marneus Calgar last edition got like a release where like Marneus Calgar, and like he came in a box with like 2 of those, I think they were called Vitrix guards or something like that. And they're basically Primaris bodyguards for Marneus Calgar. And I really thought that we were going to get, like, after I saw that, I was like, oh, cool. We're going to get a box that's going to be like Dante and like a new Sangre guard. And like, I expected to, you know, because Games Workshop love money, and I guess we all know that, right? And I mean, they're a company that needs to make money. They have mouths to feed, right? So I mean, we all know that they make money and sell models. So I really thought we were gonna see a Dante release with some sort of like Primaris bodyguard / upgraded Sangre guard. And you know, they could make a box like that with Dante and the new guys, and they could charge $50-$60, and it would fly off the shelf. Everybody would buy it. So why they haven't done that yet is, I don't know. I guess Jaegerbomb. But I mean, if I was in charge of Blood Angels at Games Workshop, that's what I would have said to them to do, right? Like, I think it's a no-brainer. I think it would sell lots of models. And you know, what's even more interesting, I guess, right now is like, if you look at all the Stormcast Eternal releases that they're doing, all those people are looking at those Stormcast Eternal releases and drooling at them, like how good they are, how cool they look. People are obviously going like, oh my god, I could make some really cool Blood Angels conversions from the Stormcast stuff. So it's almost like they already have everything they need, right? Like, they have all these new fancy wings, they have all these, you know, new fancy sort of armor pieces. Like, the Stormcast look a hell of a lot like Sangre Guard and stuff. I honestly don't know why they're not doing it. Hopefully we get it sooner rather than later. You know, like, I'll be first in line with you guys as well to buy my Primaris Dante and my or hopefully my Demigod Dante, because let's face it, if he's just going to go Primaris and get +1 attack, +1 wound, I'm going to be very disappointed. Because that felt super anti-climb. As cool as the new Mephiston model is, and I do think it's a great cast, and I really like the look of everything about the new Mephiston model, I just think his stats, like, well, I don't run him, right? I run the Librarian Dreadnought because I just think it's stronger. And it's kind of sad because Mephiston is such a cool, iconic character for us. I feel like his stats should at least reflect that to a degree, right? Learn something new every day. Yeah, I think Astaroth came out in about 4th edition, but yeah, Corbolo is super ancient, and Corbolo's another one that's strange, right? Because, like, he's got this amazing aura that basically puts everybody around him into the Salt Doctrine. The problem is he's the only character that we have that doesn't have a jump back, so it's like he can't keep up with anyone. So how do you use his aura? Well, I mean, you could use his aura, I suppose, if you had a drop pod, but like, I mean, you know, we talk about drop pods a few times on my videos or on the channel, and like, the general consensus is like the best way of getting Blood Angels around the tabletop is the jump packs, right? So like, having to pay the points and put a character in a drop pod kind of feels counterintuitive to everything else we're doing. So yeah, it's a strange one, the drop pod idea. I mean, I don't think many people are using the idea. You know, although you can put Carbolo in a drop pod, most people are just running the Sangori Priest, right? I think you're probably right, Steel Rain. They're trying to figure out what they want to do with the Primaris jump pack units, but I really hope that, you know, if you think how long ago 8th edition released now. When did 8th edition release? I think it was 2018, right? You know, it's a long time to be waiting for jump pack units. It feels like, anyway. Now you guys see why it takes me so long to get units ready, because I've always done these rims on their feet, but it always means so much back and forth, especially because I don't do sub-assemblies, so they're always on the base. It'd be really difficult to get these to get the angles for all these rims correct. Rumour Mill says Black Templars are getting a new release in October, updated Primaris. And if we were getting a new Primaris Chapter Master, they should give you guys one as well. Yeah, I mean, I guess we'll see. It would be, I think the community would be very happy if we got a new Chapter Master Primaris. But like, I do think that they need to do a little bit more than just +1 attack, +1 wound for Dante. I actually wonder, maybe like toughness 5? I mean, he's supposed to be the oldest living Space Marine, so like, could he not have toughness 5? And or feel no pain as well? You know, like, he is the oldest living Space Marine and is supposed to have survived hundreds and hundreds of battles, right? Like, surely he has a feel no pain. Honestly, can't wait to see what the future holds for our chapter. I know we can go toe-to-toe with the meta's biggest threats, but it would be nice to have Blood Angel equivalent to Silent King, Gilliman, etc. Yeah, I think that's the main thing for me, H-Ward, as well, is I would like, because I've never had the option, you know, to have like some sort of big character like that. You know, the best thing we can field in terms of like something big and survivable, I guess, is like a Leviathan Dreadnought, you know? So yeah, having the option like these other chapters have, even if it's not an auto include, you know, like he doesn't if we did get like some sort of like demigod Dante, he doesn't need to be in crazy strong, he just needs to be competitive. And I feel like just having that option there would be super awesome. Dante should also have a 3d6 charge to jump at Marines within 6. Do you know what? We've talked about this, Highland, about we felt that Blood Angels needed one other reason to focus on jump units, right? And you know, I guess you know, like we talked about this, like basically saying like we think that Blood Angels, all their jump pack units could be like -1 to hit, for example, you know, like because like that is the main identity of the chapter or something. And like, while I don't know exactly what we'll get, but like, we'll need something to make us more competitive based on, I think based on like the fact that all these other armies have had crazy buffs, we'll need something to make us more competitive. And I actually really like that idea of like Dante could have an aura that increases makes it a little bit easier to charge when you're around him or something. You know, like that's a very cool idea. Played an AgMat list with 6 transport planes and a bunch of robot chickens. First turn, pinned in my deployment by winged missiles that strat explode if you touch them. So fun. Yeah, I mean AdMech I think was that the new AdMech codex, or because that came out like last week, right? I haven't played AdMech for a decent amount of time, so I'm gonna get a surprise, I'm sure. I am trying to get a game against AdMech. Hopefully I'll get one on the channel this month. Still trying to get some games against armies we haven't played against too much, like Dark Eldar, like well, we've got Orcs coming up for the first time in a long while this week. So that should be Monday night this week. We've got Orcs. Are we still on the Librarian Dread plan? I still prefer Librarian Dread to Mephiston, if that's what you're asking. I think he's a bit stronger. Should Guilliman be a Cross Imperium character? I mean, you can kind of use Guilliman across Imperium now, right? Like with the changes to the super heavy detachment. Like, you could... We were discussing that a little bit yesterday in Discord, saying like you could 100% run Guilliman now if you wanted to run him, because it would only cost you what, like Guilliman. Let me think about this again for a second. Guilliman isn't a supreme heavy detachment, which would only cost you 1 CP, and he grants you 3 CP. So if you took a battalion with Guilliman, you'd actually start the game with 13 CP rather than 12. Because the detachment he's in only costs you 1. Then he gives you 3 back. Oh no, okay, so if you ran a battalion in Guilliman, it would only cost you 1 CP now. I think is correct. Good night, Tony. Thanks for hanging out. Good to see you. I actually didn't realise the time, guys. I usually clock about midnight on Saturdays, so I am going to put a tiny bit more paint on this one guy or these few guys and then call it a night myself. Probably could have got more done on these guys tonight, but yeah, this is why I'm slow. And we did try out this this GW synthetic brush, which I think is okay. I don't like it as much, but I mean, as the other brush I'm using. But the other brush I'm using is like 3 times the price, basically. So, you know. It's certainly not bad. Trust GW to make Guilliman everyone's Primarch. Can I get a 360 of your Redemptor Dread? I'm currently painting mine, not sure which panels internally to paint. Yeah, sure, man. Yeah, let me throw this on here and then I'll grab them. Which one you want to see, the red one or the black one? Because I've got both. The red one. Sure, yeah, Brent. Give me 1 minute and we'll do it. But yeah, we're back tomorrow, guys, at 4 p.m. UK time. For a weekly live show where we look at battle lists, or army lists rather. Things might be a little bit different this week, I guess, because a lot of the army lists will have been null and voided by the point changes. But I suppose it'll make it interesting. We can actually chat over some of the lists and like how we think, you know, because every list is going to be 40-50 points over, I guess, so we can chat over them and be like, this is what we would change, I guess. Maybe to make them work with the new points costs. So we'll have that coming up tomorrow live at 4 p.m. So if you want to hang out tomorrow for a couple hours, we're usually live every Sunday for like about 2.5 hours, from 4 p.m. UK till about 6:30. And then Monday night, we are back now playing live games on Monday night. So happy that we can do the live games again due to COVID numbers being down. So we're back playing live games every Monday, and this Monday we're taking on Brett's Orcs. I'm sure he'll have like it'll be a different game to what we're normally used to. You know, I don't play Orcs very often, and I've asked him to send over his list on Sunday night so we can post it up in Discord for you guys to see the list. I'm going to be using the list that I played last week. Like I said, I don't tailor my lists. Am I still trying to get viewers on Twitch? I mean, I am, but I'm actually decided to prioritize YouTube as of late, man. So appreciate the folk that did follow and help me out on Twitch. Twitch has some dumb rules about exclusivity, which I didn't realize. So basically, if I want to make any money on Twitch, then all my streams need to be exclusive to Twitch for 24 hours first. So like I'd have to stream on Twitch first, and everybody on YouTube would have to wait 24 hours to watch it. So most of my following is on YouTube. I didn't realize Twitch had these rules. So based on those rules, it's not going to work for me. So yeah, we're still streaming to Twitch. I guess we'll try and grow slowly over there, but like we're probably never going to make any money on Twitch, I guess, is the gist of it. Because yeah, I mean, that seems stupid, I guess. And as we say that, someone on Twitch subscribes, so thanks anyway. We are trying, but yeah, I'm not gonna make it that like everyone on YouTube can't watch me live anymore because Twitch has some sort of deal. And like honestly, you're talking pennies, right? Like the amount of viewers that I have, yeah, you know, you are talking pennies, so it's not worth it for me to do it on Twitch, I guess. They did email me and say like I had enough views or I had enough watch time that I could become a Twitch affiliate, but like I didn't actually realize until you start reading all the stuff in the contract that I was like, oh yeah, this doesn't work. So a little bit annoying, but yeah, if you make partner, you can't even co-broadcast. Yeah, so I guess Twitch has some rules, I guess. So we're not doing that. We'll continue to make YouTube the main focus, which is fine. YouTube's where I spend most of my time anyway, you know. Alright. I wish we'd got a little bit more done tonight, but I am a slow painter, guys, so we'll be continuing these Sanguinary Guard next week and probably the week after. Thank you for hanging out, guys. Thank you for watching. Appreciate the new members. We've got a couple of new members. Appreciate the super chats. Appreciate all the follows as well. It's always nice to see. And I guess if anyone's got any questions about any of the new rules, then bring them to tomorrow's stream. We'll spend a bit of time tomorrow talking over the new rules and any questions and stuff people might have as well. So that'll be that. So yeah, have a nice evening. Thanks so much for watching. And we'll see a bunch of you tomorrow. Hopefully we'll see some of you on Monday night's live show as well. And then I guess we'll see you next week, you know. We're always rolling. And if there is any questions or thoughts about the new rules, or any suggestions for future videos as well, just let me know in the comments or in one of the future streams. Now, alright, have a great night, guys. Thanks for watching. By the blood are we made. Peace.